Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. I have another piece of advice to offer, this time to women. A lady had asked me some time ago, how does she recognize a decent guy? She would like to find the right kind of guy and she would like to know what to look for, so she can know when she has one. Now, I think I know what a good man is, and I think I'm fairly good at that. Well, I'm a good guy, so I think every woman would want somebody like me. Yeah. All right, here goes. One of the first things, and this is the primary thing, and it's for so many reasons. The first and the number one thing to look out for in a good man is find a man who can cook. Yes, there, I said it. And there are several reasons for this, why this would be my number one thing. You see, a man who can cook, it means that he grew up in a good home. He normally grew up with certain other type of values and principles and ethics and manners, because if you grow up in a home, in an environment where you are able, you're first sent to the kitchen and being your mother or your guardian taught you how to cook and cook properly, it means that you are also taught a lot of other values like manners, principles, ethic, self-respect, dignity, pride, the need for good education, and so on. So guys who can cook generally have a lot of other things, a lot of other good attributes. That's one. Regarding this same, one other aspect of we should look at in terms of the cooking is that men who can cook tend to be more, can feel more empathy for their lady if she says she don't want to go to the fireside. Because even you as a man and you can cook, you generally don't feel for cook every day. You just don't feel for go fireside. Now, when you look at your woman, when your woman look at you and say, "Boy, I'm not feel for cook this evening," what you as a man now who can cook, you're going to end up either do the cooking or understand and get some takeout if you can want to cook. But you're not going to force her, because you understand that it's not every day a person going to want to go fireside. You see, a man who cannot cook, him feels a food just prepare itself. And the workhorse, the little slave, supposed to always go in a kitchen go cook. And him don't see why she can't do it on top of working a full-time job, on top of minding the baby, on top of doing homework, on top of studying if she go in class and everything. Him can't see why food can't be ready. Him just can't see it because he was not cultured that way, and he wouldn't be able to understand what it is like to go and prepare a meal. So that would be lost on him. So you would get a lot more sympathy and empathy and understanding and patience with the fireside from a guy who knows how to cook. Another thing you got to understand, yes, a man who can't cook, them generally want the big breakfast a morning time. Then why you wake up 5 o'clock and go peel banana and peel yam and go make rundown or a can saltfish or some other thing and get them for breakfast. You see, that's the irony of it, A man who can cook, him will just fry 2 egg and him gone. Or eat an egg sandwich and so on. And sometimes don't eat breakfast, him drink a glass of milk and he's off. It's the one who cannot cook. Him knows the food prepare itself. And you see, farm food prepare itself, it's supposed to just prepare. So basically, and he want big breakfast, and he want big dinner. You understand me? You can't put anything in front of him. And man who can cook, them rank. Them not eat and left. Them normally don't eat and left. You can't put on overnight food and put it out of the fridge and hot it up and give them. The food must be fully prepared fresh every single evening. and him want him big breakfast a morning time. Normally, you can't give him bread and nothing. Him want cook food a morning. You understand me? So that is the thing. So a man who cannot cook will really work you out. If we see as him slave, because the first thing if you don't cook him dinner and him come and don't see it, one of the things he's going to say is, why you think me have you here for? Eh? What do you think I have you in my house for? And it doesn't matter that you have a full-time job. It does not matter. He wants his food, and the food prepares itself, and I mean, that are your duty and that are your job, and he wants it, and so on and so on. While the man who doesn't want, who can cook, if he gets in earlier than you, he starts dinner. He starts dinner. Because he knows that, well, I'm not going to wait till you come home to go and prepare it. He starts dinner. You may finish it by the time you get in or whatever, but he'll do it. You see? So getting a man who can cook means you're getting somebody who will be able to appreciate you more and appreciate the service you provide in the kitchen and be able to feel, have more understanding and concern and appreciation for what you do there. Yeah? And to go even further, you see, a man who can cook, if you him come home and you say, boy, me no feel for no big fireside, me just I go fry some dumpling or me I go fry some fritters and me I go just do it with some saltfish or cook up some saltfish and thing, Can't buy no heavy cooking this evening. Me have other things to do. The man, sorry, excuse me. The man will just eat him fried fritters or him fried dumpling and him eat him mac and saltfish. I even look at tin mackerel and him eat it and gone in bed. Just eat and him happy and him gone, because him knows that some evening him himself, if he was living on his own, he would have come home and would have do something like that for himself. So him understand how the thing go. Him understand how the thing go. Fully understand how the thing go. And it's because him fully understand how it go, he can have that level of patience and understanding with you. You think say you can put some fritters in a plate and get a man we can cook. First thing I gotta tell you, say, a big man here go this, me a work and me a bring in the money. You think you can put on this in front of a big man, and this year this girl go fireside and go put on pot and give man real food, yeah, that's how it is. So believe me, 9 out of the 10 problems you can be solved by simply finding a man who can cook. Right? Now, this is not to say that every man who can cook is really A1, but at least this is an excellent start to a wonderful relationship. Although, if he cannot cook, there may be still hope for him. It just depends on the circumstances in which he was born. And if he was born in a certain circumstances, so well, he was living, because I know a guy who was a very good guy and eventually got married and he was taught how to cook. But the reason why he couldn't cook is that he grew up in a boys' home. So we have to give some kind of a leeway for gentlemen whose circumstances did not allow them to go in a kitchen. And because he grew up in a boys' home where he was just surrounded by men and there's a kitchen, he come home, him see food on table and him just eat, and he was not allowed to ever go in the kitchen because him dinner come into the dining hall with all the other inmates in the boys' home. You understand me? So it's when he went on his own now, he got married soon after, and that's where he started exploring in the kitchen, and his wife was patient with him. So there may be exceptions to the rule, but as a rule, find a man who can cook. Second thing, look at the man's appearance. Now, if you're chaka in your look, there's a men should take pride in their appearance. Look at him good. Is his shoes shine? How is his hair? How him look in terms of him appearance. Shirt and pants, before I go any further, let me make it clear that my advice is not for everybody. My advice is for decent women. women who have pride, dignity, self-respect, and who really want a good man, this advice is not for those people. Chaka chaka woman who just want some little yaga yaga man. My advice won't help you. It will more hurt you. So that's that. Yeah, so if you want a good man, look at his appearance. Does he keep his shirt and his pants? Does he is his shoes clean? How does he look? Can he match colors in terms of how his shirt and his trousers? Does his colors reflect something out of a pantomime or out of a scary movie, or is it trending in some way? Is it conventional? Is it dress conventional, or is it wayward or outlandish? Look at that. Because bear in mind, let me tell you something. If a man is a gangster or a drug pusher or any kind of whatever he's going to be in life, or he is, or wherever his mindset is, you can look in his dress and tell you. And it can tell you what he is. People who are into gangsterism dress like gangsters. People who are into decency, they dressed decent. For example, does he dress like a banker or a lawyer or a policeman or a pastor or so on, you can tell where his mindset is. If he dressed like a gangster or a drug pusher or what, then you know where his mindset is. So it depends on what you're looking for. But when a person appearance, don't make nobody tell you that you can't judge a book by its cover. Yes, you can. You can judge a book by its cover. 99 out of the 100 time when you judge a book by its cover, you are right. You are 100% correct. Because I tell you this, if a man is a gangster, he's not going to dress like a cop. And if a man is role model, he might not be a gangster. But if he patterns of a gangster, then you know what his heroes are, the people who he admires. And if he admires them, it's only a matter of time before he does what they do. So you can tell a lot about a man based on his dress. And based on how he dresses, or how his appearance, how neatly put together he is, it tells you a lot about how he's neat in his life, and in his lifestyle, and in his surroundings. Men who are very neat in their appearance tend to have a neat house, tend to have a neat mind, tend to have a neat outlook on life, and so on and so forth. So you can tell a lot about a man just by how he dresses. You can tell how cultured he is, how he is like, his social outlook, his mannerisms, and you can tell so much, right? Next thing to look at, simple, and this is a very simple thing. Can he tie a tie? A man who doesn't know how to tie a tie, it says a lot. It means he has never dressed for an interview. It means he has probably never been to church service. He has never had any reason to be at a social function of any great depth or quality. And therefore, you have to say, how cultured is this guy? Is he in any way cultured because he can't tie a tie? Has he ever dressed formally? Or isn't there any, has he been around anybody who is able to tie one? You know? And that is something you can actually look at. And it can tell you a whole lot about the guys and the guy. I'm not saying that you won't have good guys out there who cannot tie a tie, don't get me wrong. And I say sometimes you may see a guy look disheveled and look like hang pan nail, and in his mind he's still a great person. But what I'm saying is that by and large, once him chaka chaka and can't cook and can't tie a tie, him generally no good. Generally. Another thing to look at is how cultured he is. When I say cultured, I mean manners, principle, ethic, dignity, pride, self-respect, his behavior. When you take him, one thing you can use to judge, give him and take him to your home and give him a knife and fork to eat with, or take him somewhere to a restaurant where he has to use a knife and fork and see if he can use them. While by and large, I'm not saying that if you can't use knife and fork, it means that you are not a good, decent person. But being the ability to actually use a knife and fork says much about how cultured you are. And if you really grew up in a home, in a proper home with proper values, that's one. And another thing, walking on the street with, because, well, I'm assuming that the person who want to know if it's a good man, you want somebody who is a gentleman. Because when you're a gentleman, you're a good man. I feel all gentlemen are good men. And we may have some people who might not be very, very gentlemanly, so to speak, but can be still a good man. But I'm just saying my personal criteria. Now, when you're walking on the street with this guy, does he know the basic principles that he should walk on the outside if you are walking on the sidewalk together, and that he should put you on the inside? Does he know that if you're walking single file, if the sidewalk is too narrow and you have to walk single file, does he know that he should put you in front of him? Is he aware of that? Does he know that if you both go into a restaurant, he should have you sit down and you go get the meals and bring it to both of you? Say, well, listen, a fast food restaurant like KFC or Burger King. Is he aware of that? Or does he sit down and give you the money to order or allow you to order? That says a lot about how cultured he is and what his values are. Yeah? And if you both go up in the line, if you're in the queue and you both decide to go up in the line, in any queue, whether in a bank and you're both going does he open the door for you? When you go in the line and you're both in the line, whether a food line or a bank line or any other line, where does he let you stand? Does he put you behind him or in front of him, or does not seem to know? A man who is very cultured would have you in front. And he stands behind you. If he's crossing the street, does he know to hold your hand as you cross the street? Or at least see that you're in front of him while you're crossing the street? Does he know that? You see, it is a whole lot of things, but I'm dealing about men who want good men. I'm talking to yaga yaga women who want yaga yaga men, because I don't do yaga yaga no time. So I wouldn't know how to tell you what a good man is, because the type of people those women will be looking for, I cannot relate in the slightest. So those are things to look for, and once you've got those, what not to look for? Never look for money. Look at money, because you can be a millionaire and you're still nobody. You can have fame and fortune and you are nothing. Here is what counts in a relationship: class. Class is what counts. Class. And you can be a butu, as you say, you can be a butu in a Benz. Someone driving a fancy car doesn't make him a decent person, doesn't mean he has any morals and ethics and principles. And so I don't look at that. And I would never tell you, say, judge a man by the amount of money he has, or how expensive his clothes is, or how famous he is. It don't make you somebody. So if you're looking at a good man, do not look at money, do not look at class, look at ambition. Look at ambition, look at pride. You understand me? Oh, another thing, gambling. never take up somebody who gamble. Or, well, if a man buy the occasional lotto, the occasional little, just the occasional lottery ticket, well, that's normal. And if he misses a week here and there, but once he is a person who goes to the casino or that sort of thing, walk. You can't build a life with a gambler. Nobody on the face of this earth can build a life with a gambler. If he's into drugs, any kind of smoking that he does, well, if he takes his like a cigarette now and again, or maybe a little stick of weed now and again, yeah, I mean, he can still be a decent person. But what the excessive drug taking are, if he pushes anything up his nostrils, that's not on. Yeah? Red flags, those. Another thing to look for is men who can't reason beyond a certain level. Find a person who can communicate. Communicate is essential. In any relationship, just look for somebody who can communicate. Who talks. So those are some of the things to look for. And this is not really an exhausted list, because there are lots of other things that you could take into consideration. But of course, these are a few basic attributes that a man should look for, that a woman should look for when choosing somebody that they need. All right? So that's some good advice there. This is the advisor saying thank you for listening, and do subscribe, hit the notification bell, so that as soon as my new videos come out, you will see them. And leave a comment below, because I welcome your comments, and I will respond to anybody who asks me any questions regarding anything I made on here. And whether if you even dislike what I'm saying, I would like to hear how you what you suggest as a counter to what I've said. And I welcome your comments. All right, guys, so over and out.